Welcome back, everyone. Continuing on with the refurb of this Vintage International Harvester Corporation toolbox. This bottom is ready to go back in. As you saw in the previous video, I treated it with boiled linseed oil, and I found in my hoard some vintage Atlas upholstery tacks, which I think are going to be perfect for attaching that wood bottom to the toolbox. A couple other things I'm considering. I think I'm going to do it. I got a rivet header hiding around here somewhere. I want to wire wheel and clean up this box, which means in order to access this section of the lid, I got to drill these rivets out so I can pull that lid off, so I can get to all the areas, obscure areas, with a wire wheel, which means I've got to make new rivets. I'm not going to use pop rivets. These are solid rivets. So I've got some bar stock laying around here, and I'll see if I can find my rivet header, or a rivet type of header, or maybe just do it in my blacksmith post vise with some heat. And I do have a sheet metal rivet tool. This is a number 4. This is for aircraft rivets. It's the smallest one I've got. That header there is about the right diameter for the existing rivets that are in it. So what I mean by a rivet header is a block of steel that has a tapered hole that's been punched through it with a divot in it, so you can put your bar stock in there and then round over a head without it driving all the way through. Anyway, I'll gather some stuff together and see if we can make a couple of rivets. I recently acquired this Craftsman 4.5-inch vise in an estate sale. I need another vise, like I need a hole in the head. But what endeared me to this little vise, besides the anvil portion of it being pristine other than a little surface rust, if you'll look at the jaws, they are configured to accept round stock. Since I can't find my rivet header anywhere, I think I am going to utilize these jaw features and a little heat, see if I can form some rivet heads with this thing. You know, after taking a second look at the rivets holding this lid on, I realized those aren't solid rivets. They are more like a rivet for brake lining. If you remember, a couple years ago I did that video series on relining the brakes on a Gibson tractor. So yeah, I dug out my brake relining kit, and we're going to use that. And naturally, I'm one rivet short. So, but I got other work to do. We'll drill those rivets out and get to wire wheeling all of that, and the next time I get into town, we'll oh boy, I'm shaking this camera all over. Sorry, I'm imitating Arco again. I'll get another couple of rivets, and that's what we'll use to rivet that lid after I get it all cleaned up. So we're going to put this idea on hold for now, and I had this all set up. I was going to heat that and just dome it and cut it, but with a solid rivet it would be a little more difficult. I mean, it's doable, but a little more difficult to get it riveted back to that lid in the box together, since it's light sheet metal. So yeah, we'll try that first. Timber! Sometimes the only tool for the job is a stubby screwdriver. I'm surprised they didn't use pan head or Philister head screws to hold this can holder onto the toolbox. You know, they used full round head screws, and which, you know, could interfere with the can coming in and out. Only in my case, the can is just small enough in diameter that screw head doesn't affect it. So there was obviously some kind of handle in this lid, and I've done some internet searches and eBay searches, and the IH toolboxes that I found are all missing the handle. I'm assuming it was probably wood and rotted away. The only thing I could find in my hoard, I thought I had some handles, but I've got this little knob here on the end of this crank handle. I'll take that off, and I got some 3/16 all thread here that fits the hole. I'll weld some of that onto the end of this and at least make a temporary handle for the lid until I can find something that's more suitable for the period of the toolbox. Well, I quickly discovered that that was mystery pot metal, so welding did not go well at all. So I drilled out the center with a number 7 bit, tapped it for 1/4 20. I got lots of 1/4 20 studs laying around, so I put a Loctite on it and threaded it in. I'll dig through the nut and bolt bin, see if I can find a 1/4 20 square nut, which would be period correct with the rest of this toolbox. And at least I'll have a temporary knob on the lid until something better comes along. That ought to do it. I didn't even know it, but I had a bunch of square head 1/4 20 nuts in the hoard, so nice. May not be period correct, but it looks like it belongs there. So we're going with that for now, at least. Got some runs. I don't know if you can see them or not. I learned this trick watching 805 Road King. Just take a razor blade and peel the run off. Hit it with, 200 or something like that, and then give it a light coat to touch it up. I'll temporarily put the bottom in just to give me a little rigidity to work against here. While I cut off this run. It's a little slow going, but I mean, it's working. So you can see all the paint flakes there. Arco, if you're watching, I know you've said it a million times on your channel which sanding blocks to buy. Let me know, would you? Or maybe I'll just send you a text message. That'll save my viewers having to listen to you squawk at me in the comments. All right. I won't get carried away this time. Good enough. The original hardware holding the oil can holder onto the body of the toolbox was 1024 screws with square nuts. I'm going to put new hardware on because the ends of these are pretty chewed up. I had 1024 square nuts in stock, and I've got 1024 pan head screws, a little wider head and a little flatter, which I think, number one, the flatter, the pan heads are less likely to interfere with the can going in and out, and provide a little additional surface on the head just to hold things together. Come on, get in there. Looking good. Can holders back on. May have a little too much thread protrusion, but I'm not worried about it. I mean, nothing but tools going in here, so a couple extra threads sticking out, not going to hurt anything. Ran into a minor problem. My brake riveting tool is not deep enough. So I'm going to have to kind of do this freehand over the anvil. I've got a Hardy tool for hammering. I'll use the rivet set off the brake tool, and then we'll use the Hardy tool on the anvil to finish this off. Well, that's not going to work either. I'm going to have to devise something else. Boy, this is where having one or two of my grandkids here for extra hands would be helpful. I'm going to kind of have to work this like Harry Houdini. So I don't have enough hands to go around here. Well, here goes nothing. Now, let me get another one in there to hold that steady, and then I'll finish them off. Come on, baby. That ain't gonna work. Let's try this again. Well, that was brutal, but I got it. Not exactly the prettiest rivet set, but considering how the rest of the box looks, I'm satisfied with it. I just didn't have enough arms and fingers to manipulate all of that, but clamping my Hardy tool in the vise got things out enough where I could get the rivet head on there and set it without the box hitting the vise. So yeah, we got it. It's the moment of truth. I pre-drilled and countersunk the bottom of this, and then I'm just going to drill through these holes with a smaller bit that'll work for the shanks of my old flathead wood screws here. I dug through the hoard and found enough to do this with. I like to put a little wax on wood screws, especially when I'm drilling through old wood, just to help guide them through, if you know what I mean. Well, that ought to do it. That's not going anywhere. Yeah. Perfect. Well, that's a wrap. Thanks for joining me on this vintage International Harvester toolbox refurbishment and installation. I think it's going to make a fine addition to the pump jack trailer. Got some vintage tools in it. Got that vintage oil can. I think I'll probably wire wheel that a little bit so it kind of blends in better with the toolbox. Probably shoot some clear coat on it too, and then they can kind of patina together. I won't leave the oil can out in the weather, and that part of the trailer will be covered up as well, so we won't be exposing the toolbox to too much weather anyway. So hey, I picked up a few more new subscribers. Welcome, glad you're here. Good stuff happening on the channel, and with that, I'm going to say bye for now, everybody, and you take care, and we'll see you soon on the next one.